tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns. And that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there.
We are broadcasters, your home for Pensacola sports, ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Attention, all crab cake lovers. Mark your calendar for the Arc Gateway Annual Crab Cake Cook-Off, sponsored by Dr. Stu Bonin, the kids' dentist, at Seville Quarter on Wednesday, July 31st from 6 to 8 p.m. Sample over 15 varieties of crab cakes made by local chefs, organizations, and restaurants. Enjoy live music, beer tasting provided by the Pensacola Bay Brewery, and silent auction and artwork available for purchase. Proceeds go to the Arc Gateway. Tickets are limited, so call Brittany at 434-2638 or visit arc-gateway.org.
What up? It's your boy Roy Jones Jr. and you're listening to ESPN Pensacola.
Hey, Chad here for the Sports Drive. Catch us 5 to 7 Monday through Friday for the latest in local, collegiate, and national news. Right here on Pensacola's sports leader, ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Chad was great.
This is former Tampa Bay Buccaneer and Washington High School alum Derek Brooks. You're listening to ESPN Pensacola.
Talk football every day at noon with Pensacola's own legendary Coach K on your radio, on Facebook, and on YouTube at ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
We are back and glad you're with us, and we're really fired up about this next segment. Tim Brandover joins us, and so timely with the season around the corner, media days next week. Timmy B, how are you? Good afternoon.
Sort of a summer rite of passage, right, Paul?
No doubt.
I'm great. How are you doing, buddy? Everything good?
We are, yeah. I mean, we are having a good time here. I know we're going to miss you next week. Only 4 days of SEC Media Days in Hoover.
Yeah, Paul, I only made that in the very earliest days, the old Holiday Inn in Birmingham, when we all got together, and we watched David Housel and Stan Torgerson have a buffet off. Remember those days?
I do. I sure do.
The beloved Auburn SID of the past, and the former voice of the Ole Miss Rebels. I think it was a Mexican restaurant across the street from the downtown Holiday Inn in Birmingham in about 1985 and 1986, as I recall. And then I guess I came during the time that I was at Jefferson Pilot. Even in the days that I was at CBS, I never came, and I noticed that they bring their guys now in there. And frankly, those fun days, the old Skyriders times in the early '80s, and then those very early days of getting together with everyone was a lot of fun. I think it still serves its purpose, and frankly, the SEC does it better than any other conference. I've oftentimes said this notion, and some people have fun at the expense of the "it just means more" moniker, but think about the public relations advantage that they get from spreading out all these teams. And I think you would agree the first day is there's no real heavyweight coming in day one. There's not. It just doesn't exist. But everybody, every great writer, most of the television, most of the electronic media will be there, and they will wait for day 2 and 3 and 4, and you'll have more stories written and more coverage given to this conference than any of the other leagues. That's just the way they roll. And I've oftentimes said the other conferences are playing catch-up in terms of PR to the SEC, because Mike Slive knew what he was doing, and the people working for him knew what they were doing. And, of course, all of those guys are still there. So sometimes people poke some fun because of those that maybe don't deserve to have media credentials that do, and all the fans that are lined up screaming and waving their pom-poms as the coaches make their way into the Hoover Hotel. But the facts of the matter are, it gets them a lot more coverage than any of the other leagues get. Very,
very true. And I used to joke about it sometimes, and Commissioner Slive looked at me and said, do you realize that when we announced 1,500 or 1,200 media people, That makes everyone else look small. I said, never thought of it that way, Commissioner.
He knew what he was doing. He really did.
No, he really did. Well, let's get to it. The football season is upon us, and we are all very eagerly awaiting how you think it's going to go.
Well, the sad news is we still have the issues that we have, but I'm not going to bore you with what bothers me because we do that ad nauseum. It's time to get excited about the college football season, and I genuinely am when I'm putting together my 10 teams and the 3 teams that I see right on the cusp. And there may be a couple of other teams that I don't mention that you might want to ask me about, and if that's the case, feel free
to
do it because I'm an open book. You know that. So we'll start with the first 3 out, and by out, and let's begin with this caveat too, Paul. Unlike any other, and I say this every year, unlike any other preseason top 10 that you read about, I don't care the website. This is not a starting grid. This is not where teams are preferred to open. This is where I believe they will ultimately finish. So in a lot of ways, this is a postseason top 10 done in the preseason. All right, so this is the way I believe it'll fall. And these 3 teams I'm going to mention first are just out of my top 10. Iowa State is going to be one of the great party crashers in college football this year. Matt Campbell has done an amazing job. Everyone was trying to hire him last year. The Cyclones did a remarkable job of holding on to him. And one of the reasons they did is a sophomore quarterback named Brock Purdy. Now, this young man is going to be a Heisman candidate. Maybe not this year, but in 2020 and 21, if he stays, I mean, he is a legitimate Tim Tebow type. And when I say Tebow, I mean his leadership skills, his work ethic, his spirituality within the locker room is incredible, and the rest of the team feeds off of that. Iowa State has got some playmakers too, both in their run game as well as in their passing game. If there's a team outside of Texas or Oklahoma that's going to make noise in the Big 12 nationally this year, mark it down, it's the Cyclones. My other team just outside is Washington. The reason I think the Jacob Eason find and the transfer is something to keep an eye on, yes, but Washington's schedule is one that I think keeps them in the position of saying, you know what, we're the most stable program in the Pac-12, and with a coach that's defined himself as one of the top 5 coaches, I think, in the country. Peterson is outstanding. I think Washington is a team you always have to say is a potential contender. Now, last year they won a bad league, and the league still isn't very good, but there's always a chance that they can catch fire. Notre Dame may surprise you as being out, but it shouldn't surprise you if you see their schedule this year. They play at Georgia. They play at Stanford at the end of the year. They also have to go to Michigan, and I'll have more details on that coming up. I do think Notre Dame, because of the situation they're always in, has to be considered a team on the cusp of the top 10. All right, so now we move to teams 10 through 6 in my top 10. So we'll go in reverse order. Memphis is really good.
Memphis
is really good, and so is UCF. I really couldn't pick a team because they're in the same league, but they don't play until they get to their conference championship game. So it's the American Conference, the American Athletic Conference champion that I'm going to put in the 10th position that will go to a New Year's Six Bowl. This league has separated itself. Its new billion-dollar multi-year deal with ESPN is proof of that. Now, they're not getting P5 money, but they're getting a hell of a lot more money in that league than the Mountain West, Conference USA, and the Sun Belt are getting. And there's a reason for it. It's quality. In fact, some of the ACC teams would be wise to watch how the Atlantic Coast Conference needs to watch how the American Athletic Conference is pushing its football programs because they've been outstanding. Mike Norvell is a really good coach. I suspect Ole Miss will fall on really hard times in their opener at the Liberty Bowl. I see Memphis and UCF potentially going into their championship game with no more than one loss each, and one of them may be undefeated. Number 9, the Oregon Ducks, Mario Cristobal. This is a team out of the Pac-12 that has the talent on both sides of the ball that can get the job done. And if Justin Herbert stays healthy, which has been a problem for them, I had him twice a year ago, and he was banged up some. If he gets hurt, they're in trouble because their road schedule in the Pac-12 is tough. And you can say the league is bad, and I'm with you. The Pac-12 is probably the fourth toughest league in the Power Five. I put the ACC behind it. But it's hard to win on the road, and Oregon's got tough road games. But if they win a couple of those road games, Herbert is outstanding. Their defense is very solid, and the recruiting cast coming in for Cristobal this year is highly noted how good it really is. Oregon is my number 9 team. The bigger surprise story may be that I think he's a transformational coach. I said it a year ago. People scoffed when they started at 0-7. Watch out for Scott Frost and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. And the Big Ten West, with Wisconsin failing I think Wisconsin takes a step back this year. And I think Nebraska is going to be in the 8th position because they're going to get a huge win on September the 28th. This is my surprise pick of the season in September. The Cornhuskers to take out the Buckeyes of Ohio State at home on September the 28th. The Cornhuskers have Adrian Martinez, a quarterback who can beat you with both his arm and his leg. Similar story to Herbert, Paul. He needs to stay healthy for Nebraska to be there. But if you look at their schedule, I mean, the Cornhuskers are in a great position. They really don't have to play anyone of substance on the road and are home for the game with Ohio State. Number 7, Texas. I think the Horns will lose early. I do think LSU will take down Texas in week 2 of the season. But Sam Ehlinger does have this team on the precipice of making a comeback. I think it's very possible that we're looking at another split in the Big 12. Texas winning one game, Oklahoma winning the rematch in the Big 12 title game. I like the Horns and their defense overall. Todd Orlando's done a tremendous job. Texas is almost back. They're not back, but they're almost back. And number 6, LSU. Paul, I don't see a loss on their schedule until they get to Alabama. When you start talking about Ohio State's issues and why they're not there, listen, Haskins was the quarterback and Joe Burrow is not going to start. It was never a question if this kid was not good enough to start at Ohio State. Tom Herman, who recruited Burrow to Ohio State, now the Texas coach, he told Urban Meyer, you've got to take this kid. He's that good. He makes solid decisions. Now he's got a little swagger about him because Coach Brady is coming over from Sean Payton's offense, and they're going to light it up a little bit more and throw the football. LSU, I think, will have its best offense since Zach Mettenberger was a quarterback. They'll be undefeated.
Okay, Tim, hold the thought. We need to take a quick break before we get to the rest of it, but this is very dramatic, very exciting. Tim Brandell will reveal his top 5 after this. If you missed any of today's show, go check out the show on demand in the Paul Feinbaum Show podcast, brought to you by the Capital One Venture Card. Earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every day. What's in your wallet?
Let Audible heat up your summer fun with an unmatched selection of audio entertainment you can listen to anywhere, including exclusive Audible originals. Compelling stories, thrilling performances, and A-list celebrity talent make Audible originals must-listen events, like Stan Lee's Alliances, A Trick of Light, performed by actress Yara Shahidi. Get it only from Audible or choose a title perfect for your travel plans. Download the Audible app, start a 30-day trial, and your first audiobook is on us.
Experienced truck drivers. Are you searching for a company that will let you pick the kind of driving job you want? At Schneider, professionals personalize their careers by choosing from 38 different types of driving positions. That means a better career to fit your lifestyle. If you want even more choice, Schneider drivers can also choose from over 50 unique dedicated accounts. Enjoy experienced driver pay, the respect you deserve, and choices that only Schneider can offer. Find out for yourself at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
I'm Jordan Glass with your sports update on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. For your Pensacola Blue Wahoos, they're going to be back home at the friendly confines of Blue Wahoo Stadium. They're going to be taking on the Montgomery Biscuits all weekend long. You can catch all the action right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Chris Gargiulo will have the call. For your UWF Argos, we are 56 days away from the start of the 2019 football season. They'll get it started September 5th against Carson Newman. You can get your tickets online now at GoArgos.com. I'm Jordan Glass with your sports update on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
I was on my second tour of combat duty when I got injured. After extensive rehab and learning how to use a wheelchair, I started looking for an apartment. But many units had steps and narrow doorways. I fought for freedom and thought I would be free to choose where I live.
My husband and I are blessed with 2 young children. Recently, we thought we had found the perfect apartment online, but the listing said no children. Our dream was to have a family, but now that we've found our dream home, we're being denied because we are a family.
After the phone interview, we assumed the apartment was ours.
But when we showed up, the manager was quick to say it's no longer available.
These individuals all experience some form of housing discrimination. If it happens to you, know what to do. Be informed and aware of your rights. The only way to stop housing discrimination is to report it. Take action and visit HUD.gov/fairhousing or call HUD's Housing Discrimination Hotline at 1-800-669-9777. A public service message from HUD in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
If you have over $10,000 in credit card debt and are behind on your monthly payments, you need to make this free call right now. 800-428-4187. When you call the Stop Debt Hotline, you're taking the first steps for help. Debt specialists are part of a real team who will help you with all of your options. You could stop the collection calls and letters forever by calling the completely confidential toll-free number right now. 800-428-4187. 800-428-4187. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can handle your debt forever. Imagine no more late nights and no more debt. Don't try to face your creditors alone. Call the Stop Debt Hotline right now. 800-428-4187. 800-428-4187. Get free information now by calling the Stop Debt Hotline. 800-428-4187. Non-attorney spokesperson paid for by Debt Resolution Helpline. 102 Northeast 2nd Street, number 183, Boca Raton, Florida, 33432.
Hey there, I'm a glue stick, so I have one job. I glue kid stuff. So sorry for being jealous of Geico, who does a ton more, like give you 24/7 access to thousands of licensed agents. And Geico has been around for over 75 years and has a 97% customer satisfaction rating. While I've just got mediocre adhesive skills, Geico also has an award-winning mobile app. Uh-oh, arts and crafts time. No eating the glue stick, Miss Lydia!
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Getting knocked down on the football field makes you tough, but getting back up makes you tougher. At Goodyear, we call that determination. A willingness to put in more hours, more reps, and more heart to reach a bar that's sky high. Because the Goodyear blimp doesn't show up for just anybody. So don't be just anybody. Be blimp-worthy. Goodyear, more driven.
Our Pensacola Wahoos are back for another season, and with the new season comes some fresh and new changes. Our Wahoos are now the new AA affiliate of the Minnesota Twins, and they have a new broadcast home here in Pensacola, right here at your hometown station for hometown sports, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos action from home and away with Chris Garagiola. Wahoos baseball presented by Denny's on the new official flagship station for the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and ESPNpensacola.com. Sports is live and local every Saturday from 11 to 1. Sports Call with Jordan Glass and Davis Allen on your radio, on Facebook, and YouTube at ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
We're going to get to reveal the top 6. Tim, this has been very much a great deal of fun for all of us. Tim, you there?
I am here.
Okay, well, let's we are waiting for the top 6.
Well, LSU is in the 6th position. We'll go to the top 5, Paul.
Okay.
I think the Oklahoma Sooners are going to be just outside the top 4 this year. I've got Oklahoma and Texas splitting, and I think there's the potential that one of those two teams could lose to Iowa State. Iowa State went in with a 4th-string quarterback years ago and won in Norman. Now, I don't know that can happen again this year, but I think the potential is there for either Texas or Oklahoma to lose to Iowa State this year. And so with that in mind, even if Oklahoma wins the Big 12 championship game, because of the circumstances that always occurs with the way this really godforsaken format is set up, I think the potential of Oklahoma not having enough juice to get in the top 4 is there. And I'll explain a little further as we move along. So that's the 5th team, Oklahoma. Number 4, the Bulldogs of Georgia. If Georgia weren't having to go to Alabama in the regular season in the crossover that's coming up soon, think about the nature. If Georgia didn't have to play Alabama in the SEC title game, would they be a lock to be number 1? Think about it. Would they be a lock to be number 1?
They would be.
Sure they would. Do you see a loss anywhere on Georgia's schedule?
No, I don't.
Despite, with the exception of Alabama in the SEC title game. You don't see one, do you?
No, I don't. I'm with you on that,
Okay.
Tim.
All right. So I got Georgia at 4 because they're going to lose to Alabama again. Only this time because they have beaten Notre Dame at home. When you look at the schedule and the way it's set up, Georgia's not going to get any heat for their non-conference schedule because, hey, Notre Dame's there. We get that. And Georgia will probably blow teams out the way Alabama blows teams out within the Southeastern Conference's Eastern Division. I think Georgia is just about ready to overtake Alabama as the powerhouse of the SEC. But I can't put them ahead of Alabama if they're going to lose in the SEC title game to them. So Georgia is number 4, and they're in. Number 3, your boy Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines. Hail to the victors. Michigan gets there this year. Gaddis has come in to take over the offense. For the first time, Harbaugh has given the keys to a quarterback, Shea Patterson, the right guy at the right time, and Michigan gets into the top 4. That's number 3, Michigan. Number 2, Crimson Tide of Alabama. Alabama gets there. They're going to win every game, including the matchup against Georgia. And that means, of course, who do they get at the top? Clemson. Little old Clemson again. And I don't see any way you stop Clemson from beating them down again. I see a beat down very similar to the one we saw a year ago. Yeah, it was 28 points then. I think it'll be over 2.5 to 3 touchdowns this year. So what do we have? 3 teams out of 4 that you can guarantee just about every year. Some form of an SEC team to go with Alabama this year instead of Oklahoma, Clemson, and then the Big Ten champion. And it's going to be that way, Paul, until the cows come home, or we change this godforsaken format. And let's hope it's sooner rather than later.
Wow. Well, Tim, this has been an absolute joy. You have not disappointed anyone, and I don't know what your plans are for the rest of the evening. I might advise you to avoid Twitter.
Paul, you know that'll never happen.
You've got a busy night ahead watching the mentions blow up. Hey, Tim, come back soon. This was fantastic.
You bet, Paul. Anytime.
What a great conversation. Tim Brando, and if I heard him correctly, Danny Brams, correct me if I'm wrong, he said he sees a repeat of last year in the championship game. Is that what you heard? That's what I heard. And we'll get your reaction to that in just a moment. 855-242-7285 is the number. Love to hear from you, and we're coming right back.
Driving is freedom. The freedom to keep moving, to control your destiny, and to choose your path. And now, that freedom fits in the palm of your hand. It's called Ford Pass, the only app that gives you roadside assistance, Ford Pass rewards, and now when you buy or lease a new Ford, earn points you could use toward flexible complimentary maintenance that gives you, well, more freedom. Ford Pass, built to keep you moving. Built Ford proud. Visit your participating Ford dealership to find out about getting flexible complimentary maintenance when you buy or lease a new Ford and sign up for rewards.
Roadside assistance is included for certain Ford owners and available to everyone for a per-service fee. Ford reserves the right to change program without obligations. Visit your participating dealer or FordPassRewards.com for program rules and restrictions. Ford Pass, compatible with select smartphone platforms, is available via a download.
Today, my new dad and I shot off a rocket in the park.
Today, my new son and I failed to shoot off a rocket.
He knew exactly what to do.
I had no clue what I was doing.
We set up the rocket.
Hit ignition.
And then
nothing. Sometimes I laugh when I'm frustrated.
Then out of nowhere, the rocket launched into the air.
The rocket did get into the air.
I've never seen anything fly so high.
And then crashed into a kite.
Look out! Look out!
And then the pond.
I'll never forget that day.
I'll never forget that day, even if I tried.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Hello, it's me, the designer jeans in your closet. The back of your closet. What am I doing here? Would you keep caviar in the back of your fridge with the ketchup and old milk? Yeah, I don't think so. So, what happened to us? I mean, have you seen my label? I used to summer in the Hamptons, and now I'm stuck behind a pair of sweats. Sure, I never really fit you quite right, and one of my pockets is so small you can't even squeeze your hand into it. But it's all about the look. And I look good. I need to get back out on the scene so I can be seen. You know, going to fancy parties, getting expensive iced coffees, Sunday fun days, okay? So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create new jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Here are the ESPN Pensacola 94.5 contest rules. You can win one prize per household per contest in any 30-day period, unless specified by individual contest rules. All prizes on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 are non-transferable, non-redeemable in cash, nor exchangeable for any other prize. ESPN Pensacola 94.5 prizes must be redeemed within a 30-day period of winning, and you must be 18 years of age or older to win. For a complete list of rules, visit ESPNpensacola.com.
Sports is live and local every Saturday from 11 to 1.
Kawhi, him and his free agency, or him just sitting around waiting to sign with the team, had a lot to do with more than just the Lakers. There were other teams that were tied into this trade as well to determine their next moves. And for the Lakers, they still haven't finalized the Anthony Davis deal.
Sports Call with Jordan Glass and Davis Allen on your radio, on Facebook, and YouTube.
Southern California basketball is going to be what everybody's paying attention to this upcoming season.
At ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
To give batters a different look, pitchers throw a changeup.
Your idea of a different look is sunglasses.
That's true. But La Quinta Inns and Suites is really taking the different look thing to a new level.
Definitely a major league makeover, starting with a bolder, brighter lobby full of comfortable spaces to let you settle in.
Or chill out in front of a big flat screen like Wingo would.
Oh, you know it. It's a changing La Quinta look to help you get in the zone and look sharp when you hit that big meeting.
Prepare to win at business with La Quinta Inns and Suites.
Book now at LQ.com.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.
Looking Gannon, throws up the middle. At the 40, Derek Brooks 30, Brooks to the 29, he's getting Derek Brooks all the way. Touchdown Tampa Bay, Derek Brooks, the dagger's in. We're going to win the Super Bowl.
is wearing a green jacket, and this time his name is Bubba.
Pitch on the way. Russell drives one in the air. Deep left center. That's back near the wall. It's got a chance. Grand slam. Grand slam, Addison Russell.
The new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
And Richardson breaks free on the sideline. End zone. How about that? Bama scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trick Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And these them Louisiana, Pensacola guys, they looking crazy and all that.
Morris, blocked by the tight end call. That opens up the door. Breaking the Kendricks tackle. To the pylon. Touchdown.
Really nice effort there by Alfred Morris, extending that ball over the goal line.
Near side ball is that big game. Doug Baldwin's got a first down. And Doug Baldwin, 93 yards, now has back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons.
Reggie Evans, and he's going to get an ovation. Guy from Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome into the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. I am Chad Brilliante as we broadcast here, having some fun with you and enjoying our time on this Thursday afternoon. 850-972-1945 is the number to be part of the show, as we're going to be out here for the next couple hours enjoying our time and looking forward to it, as well as we are just enjoying what is a Blue Angels week overall and having some fun. So we're going to have some fun with you and enjoying it now, right out of the gate. Why not? You know what? It's Blue Angels weekend, so let's start the show off in a bang. Joining us is legendary Auburn coach Pat Dye. Pat, how's it going, Coach Dye?
Well, I'm a little bit jealous. Y'all go from the 4th of July into the Blue Angels week. So y'all on an extended vacation down there or partying time or whatever. You got everything going on in Pensacola.
Well, it is an awesome time. So have you ever got down here to enjoy a couple Blue Angel weekends?
No, I haven't, but I spent some time in England when I was in the service at Fort Benning, and we used to come down, and my unit trained we ran the aggressive troops against the Rangers in the Florida phase of that training. They go a Florida phase, and then one in the mountains and one at Fort Benning with the Rangers. And I spent some time at England when we did that. And and of course I've been in Pensacola recruiting and that sort of thing. And I know it's a great city for Auburn, and I know it is for Florida State too. I'm not saying that we compare with them, but I know that we have a lot of students from Pensacola that come to Auburn.
Well, Coach Dye, this weekend, last year, we actually had to broadcast the show on the beach, which was pretty fun and something I've never got to do before. But this weekend, going to get to be out there trading in the suit for a bathing suit with the family. And just like the Blue Angels, after a couple concoctions, I'll be going from 0 to 700 real fast.
Oh, goodness. Well, you could do that. It would slow me down. I'm slow enough as it is, but that would really get me to where you couldn't understand what I was saying.
After a couple, there's a drink called jet fuel, so I think I'll be all right after that. So
Lord,
we should.
Yeah. That sounds like something to kill you.
That's right. Yeah. You might as well be drinking jet fuel having that.
It puts you to sleep anyway.
That's right. That's what Red Bull is for, right? Yeah, that's what gives you wings. Yeah, for about 30 seconds after that. But hey, Coach, we have a lot to get to on today's show. Obviously, Auburn has been an intriguing team when you look at the quarterback quarterback situation, Joey Gatewood, Bo Nix. Are we going to have to wait pretty much until that Auburn game, or do you think they're going to be ready? What I've heard is it looks like it's Joey's job to lose. Is that right?
I wouldn't say that. It may be whatever, but I think I don't think Coach Malzahn's made up his mind about who's going to be the starting quarterback, and I would not say. I looked at the spring game, and both of them brought a lot to the table, but in different ways. And that's what. And I had Coach Malzahn on my radio show yesterday, Tuesday, and that's what he said. He said, Coach, he said, they're both. We're excited about both of them, but they both have a different set of tools, and they do. They both can do the running and the passing. I would evaluate them as Bo Nix maybe a little better passer and doesn't have the running skill or power and all that Gatewood does. And I'd say Gatewood was a little stronger runner, might be faster, and throws the ball good, but not quite as good as Bo Nix. Now that was my impression looking at the spring game, one game, and of course I watched a little bit of practice. You can't get a real good feel for them in practice sometimes because this practice is what it is, and but out there in real competition, you can get a lot better feeling for what their real skills are. And both of them have got a. You could win with Gatewood passing, and you could win with Bo Nix running. It's not like they can't do the other. So I'd say it's up for grabs myself. Now that's my feeling. I wish that for my own. I wish Coach Malzahn could come up with a system where he could play both of them, and not one take away from the other, and in other words, have a plan for Gatewood and then be a little different than the plan for Bo Nix, and that's Coach Malzahn's decision, and he knows more about them than anybody else does, and he'll make the right choice.
Speaking with legendary Auburn coach Pat Dye here on the show to kick things off today, as we have Pensacola Blue Wahoos baseball coming up at 6:30 tonight. We'll talk to Luis Gonzalez of C&G Auto. We'll also get to more on a 850 concert coming up here with Eric Baker, who just won a big fight at Island Fights, as well as Bill Marshall will join us here with Roy Jones Jr. Looking at some of the things going on, Coach, I want to talk a little bit about the XFL, and do you believe, somebody said that they're an athlete, they're a 5-star player, and they said, you know what, my family has lived a bad life. My dad he said he was a crack dealer. His mom actually died at an early age. His grandma's been taking care of him, and he said, you know what, my goal has been to make the NFL so I could pay for my family and friends and take care of them. And he was 19, and he was pretty much one of these 6'5", 290-pound players. And he said, if there was a league that offered me a chance, I would take that before college. Now, college, you got to go 3 years. And it's easy to say to go to get an education. Many do that and take the right path. But this kid wants to make money, and if somebody is willing to pay him, you can't blame him. He said if the XFL was to start a league right out of the gate, and just like a minor league system for baseball, he would play for them a couple years and move up to the NFL. Do you think this system could ever work?
That's what Herschel Walker did 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He went to the USFL and played in New Jersey, and then later ended up at Dallas, and it didn't seem to affect him.
It's definitely something that's going to be brought up, because today in college football, there are some. You look at a guy like Trevor Lawrence, and there's always exceptions to the rule, but Trevor Lawrence right now would have been the number 1 pick last year as a true freshman if he would have came out this year, and he has to wait 2 more seasons to get paid when he would have been the guy that would get a $100 million endorsement right now.
Well, you know, that's a complicated issue.
It is. What I'm not touching with a 50-foot pole, you know.
Well, the thing, what happens is this: they take. I don't even can't even remember the kid's name you were talking about earlier, the big offensive defensive lineman. But Trevor Lawrence, I do know who you're talking about, and he can make the transition from a freshman in college to a pro league and be there 2 or 3 years and learn but I don't think he could go anywhere and start as a college sophomore, but he might could, but what happens is you start with those two, and then the two great ones that could make it work for themselves, but then the NFL starts dropping the standards. And then they you end up with the kids coming out of high school with a different set of goals. They want the money right now, and they take them in the NFL or the XFL or whatever it is, and they don't make it. Now they're out on the street then without an education, and so I think that's a bad thing. And so I mean, and I'm not smart enough to figure it up to where it could be a good thing. Maybe they can.
Coach, do you think when you look right now at a new quarterback, and there's a lot of them out there this year, more intriguing than ever with guys like Jalen Hurts at Oklahoma, guys like Justin Fields from Georgia to Ohio State. We've seen the transition from players. Just like a guy like Tate Martell that gets a chance in Miami right out of the gate against Florida. But when you look at all these transfers, would you rather, as a coach, a former coach, would you rather watch a new quarterback or a new coach if you had one game to choose, a brand new slate in 2019?
Well, it just depends on how bad your program is. If your program is bad, then you need a new coach. If your program is rocking along now like Oklahoma, then I'm taking a quarterback.
I think there's,
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I think, okay. It does. And I think there's, the greatest coach in the world can only do so much with the athletes that he has, in a way. Meaning that I think great coaches make good athletes great. And I think that okay coaches can coach a team with great athletes and get away with it. You know, I mean, Ron Zook, for example.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. I agree with you there.
Ron Zook was he was a respected guy around Florida, but not the best in-game coach. You might have knew Ron for a while, and
well, he was a good he's a good defensive coach, and when you make a move up the ladder in coaching, there's an enormous difference between being an assistant coach and being a head coach. And when you're a position coach, you got to worry about your linebackers and their welfare and make sure that they're progressing physically and going to school and doing everything they're supposed to do off the field and on the field, and you develop a relationship with a coach-player relationship between the coach and that position. And when you're a head football coach, you got to keep the administration happy. You got to keep the board of trustees happy. You got to keep the faculty happy. You got to keep the students happy. You got to keep the fans happy. You got to keep the media happy. And that you put all that together, I mean, it's an enormous responsibility that the head coach has before he ever coaches a down.
I mean, that's why. Yeah.
And if you don't have that support behind you, and those people are not pulling for you, they can destroy you in a heartbeat.
Well, that's why the best financial plan is someone like a Charlie Weiss to go out there and get paid a ton of cash and then not do good and then just get paid to golf every day, you know?
Anybody that would make that hire needs to have a brain transplant. I mean,
that wasn't a wise choice at all. No. Yeah, there are some coaches that.
Who is Charlie Weiss going to impress when he walks into the living room to recruit a kid?
Maybe the kid that he can.
The cook.
He might impress his mama that he can finish a whole entire thing of donuts. I don't know.
I don't know. But I mean, it's some crazy stuff that goes on out there that you just shake your head and wonder how it happened, and it does.
It is. I wonder what pictures he had, but at the same time, it's one of those kind of things where, no joke, by the way, as a coach, you're going to find this humiliating from Charlie's standpoint. But when he was at Kansas, I think they were on a 16-game losing streak, and he had them practicing extra points or game-winning kicks with nobody rushing the kicker. So he just had pretty much the kicker try to kick it through the uprights, and everybody would celebrate together. And one of the guys captured it on film, and it was like a 20-yard chip shot, and the guy missed it. And they started celebrating, and he had to blow the whistle and say, do it over again. So they couldn't even celebrate a fake extra point to celebrate in practice. So it got that bad.
When he was an assistant coach, he coached off of a 50-quart cooler. He sat down on the cooler, and, I mean, Lord have mercy.
A lot of good players. I mean, he coached with Bill Belichick, and I think Bill Belichick is, if you look at like a...
Well, Bill Belichick, he could coach with Saban.
Yeah.
Or anybody that's established like that,
and look good.
He might have he looked good, and he might build a reputation, but that don't mean that the reputation is accurate.
No, remember Jim McElwain was a coordinator for Alabama, and Florida thought he would be a good head coach. Now he's signing Shark Week DVDs.
Well, he's cute.
Yes, I am just saying.
He wears shoes without socks on them.
It is. Looking at the SEC, though, in your opinion, is there one team? We got media days next week. Will you be involved?
Listen, I think we got the best group. I think we got the best group of coaches, of young coaches, in the SEC that we've ever had. And I don't know anybody that's got a weak situation. And now the one that I know the least about is Arkansas, because he's been there 1 year or whatever, and I'm still, the jury's kind of still out there. But I like the guy at Missouri. The guy at Vanderbilt has done a great job. One of the best coaching jobs that's been done in the conference was at Kentucky. Pruitt ought to do a good job at Tennessee. And, Mullins will be successful at Florida. Jimbo Fisher's at Texas A&M. It's just a league full of good coaches, and so it'll be up for grabs. I like our coach. I like Coach Malzahn, and I particularly like our situation a lot better since he's named himself the offensive coordinator and is going to be in charge of the offense and calling plays, and because, he did put us in the national championship game 2 years calling plays.
And once again, he did a good job as a coordinator. And, you know what, though? The great part about this, coach, is, and this is more of an old-school mentality anyway, is, I talk to you and I talk to Coach Gene Stallings every week, and you guys both say, it was our team. Nowadays, coordinators a lot of times can take so much credit outside of the Saban regime and a couple others, and you look at a guy like Gus Malzahn, he's in charge of play calling now, so it's on his back, where he can't blame Chip Lindsey or anybody else.
Yeah, that's right. But there's offensive coaches that are successful doing that. But you look at the ones that, for instance, I'll give you a good example. Now, Coach Bowden at Florida State was a great offensive mind and a great offensive coach, and did as good a job of calling plays against the defense as anybody that I've ever coached against. But they would have never beat us, ever, if he hadn't hired Mickey Andrews to coach his defense.
They had
Mickey Andrews he never got any credit.
And you had Chuck Amato and Mark Richt there. They had great coordinators.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Well, but about Bobby Bowden, you can bet your life he had a big hand in what they did on offense.
Did Bobby Bowden? Did he have like a? I'm sure that because you guys coached during the same time, and he's a little bit older than you. But did you have
Coach Bowden?
Did he have a wild side? Did he at least party once in a while?
Coach Bowden?
Yes, Bobby Bowden.
He gonna go party with a Bible in his hand?
Well,
look.
Listen, I've seen many preachers finish a whole thing of wine here. I'm not saying. Yeah, listen,
I don't know who called you today about our conversation, but I told him, I said we had to keep it short.
Okay.
I've got company here, and we've been talking longer than normal already.
Coach,
and you trying to get me in trouble.
Listen, I'm trying to get the whole station in trouble every day on here. They keep on telling me to come back. But hey, Coach, I actually
they'll have you be competing with Feinbaum for us over with.
I sound like a Feinbaum caller today, you know. Hey,
yeah.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Get back with family, and we are blessed to have you on the show. And we appreciate you making adjustments today. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Coach Pat Dye, one of the best right there. We usually have him on around 5:30 to 5:45. We have a couple of fun guests today, including Luis Gonzalez. C&G Auto will join us there. But, look, we're not going to Jordan Glass now introduced, by the way, after that. And he's like, I don't want any.
I don't know how to follow that.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? We never got to after.
Coach brought the fire.
That's right. When we come back, we're going to look at some of the best photos of Charlie Weiss sitting on a water cooler when we return right here on the Sports Drive.
Progressive presents Get Pumped. Inspiration to help you do insurance stuff.
Hey, are you just gonna stand there and let people not give you credit for being a good driver? You deserve discounts on car insurance, and that's what Snapshot from Progressive is for. So why aren't you signing up? You need music to get pumped? Hit it! Drum solo! Ow, that hurts my fingers.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California, North Carolina, or from all agents.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns, and that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there. We are broadcasters. Visit wearebroadcasters.com or text radio to 52886 to learn more. Furnished by NAB and this station.
Summer's here, and there's no better time to hit the road. At AutoZone, we've got the free services you need to drive with confidence, like our free AutoZone Fix Finder service. If your check engine light is on, our Fix Finder service will help troubleshoot the likely issue. And if you need help from a repair shop, we know some of the best. Want to maximize and restore lost fuel economy? Right now, buy one bottle of Chevron Techron Complete Fuel System Cleaner and get one free. Visit us at AutoZone.com and start the job fast with free same-day store pickup and free next-day delivery. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
If you're hitting 200 at the plate for the Pensacola Blue Wahoos, life isn't that great. But if you're hitting up 200 before the Wahoos games, things can't get much better. 200 South is your Blue Wahoos pre-party destination. Grab an ice-cold draft with the best selection in town at World of Beer. Relax in the most hoppin' spot at Blend Lounge. Or grab a quick bite to eat at Graffiti Pizza or Taco Aguave before the game. 200 South Palafox in downtown Pensacola. Peanuts and Cracker Jacks are all right, but a slice and an ice-cold draft, now that's a home run.
Oh, it looks like your appendix is about to burst. We're going to have to go in and take it out.
Is there going to be pain, Doctor?
Oh, yeah. A lot. Just think about puppies or whatever. Scalpel.
Surgery, no-brainer. Anesthesia. Barbasol's no-brainer. Finally making razors to go along with America's favorite shaving cream. Try Barbasol's Ultra 6 Plus razor with 6 ultra-thin blades for a close, comfortable shave.
Barbasol. Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
And welcome back. Sports Drive with you right here, ESPN Pensacola 94.5, and also on Blab TV. I am Chad Berliante alongside Jordan Glass. Thanks for Coach Dye for making time. He was having some fun right there. He was having way too much fun right here.
If Coach Weiss was listening, he's not happy right now.
Oh, no. The phone is like 15 feet from the couch. He'll be calling in like a half hour. But overall, it was a fun time. Why not?
45 minutes
Look,
to
he
an hour.
left the Patriots high. Look, I've heard some things. This is not a weight conversation. Because I've done about 15 more little Debs than Nick Saban has today.
I'm
not trying to show it all. If you got it, flaunt it kind of thing. That's not me. But what I'm telling you is, though, it's okay. But Charlie Weiss was not a nice guy.
No,
I'm not gonna sit here.
When he left the Florida Gators, 3 restaurants closed in Gainesville.
That's right.
They just couldn't stay in business without him there.
Yeah, there was a couple bakeries that were like, we're done. But we have a lot to get to. Joining us here, having some fun with us, is Luis Gonzalez of CNG Auto. You always go by those cars. I went by a few minutes ago and I took a photo, and you feel awkward too because I just almost knocked a whole drink on him right there. But you know when you're driving by and you want to take a picture of a cool car, and they're clearly, and all their windows are tinted, and they can tell you're not on the phone. You're like doing like this, and there was a car jacked up, sweet ride, this truck, and it was just awesome. It was in all these colors, and it had this UCF Night sticker on the side. I know, but at the same time, it was just a sweet car. That's what Luis does at his place.
Yeah,
and
I was going to say, fun fact, when I was pulling in today for the show, I'm coveting this nice red Wrangler that I'm seeing sitting in El Paso's parking lot, and I'm like, that is nice. As I'm turning into the station, I pull into the parking lot. It's starting to come down the road towards the station. I go, man, that is a nice. All of a sudden, it pulls in and parks, and I'm just like, oh, that's a nice car.
That's your car, isn't it?
Yes,
that's your car. Luis, how's it going, man? Good to see you.
Thank you for having
absolutely.
me. Thank you.
I told you after that Pat Dye interview, we're going to have some fun here today. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, pretty much outside of a couple of words you can't say on air here for FCC law, we're going to just enjoy our time. So, but overall, you look right now at the athletes. Everybody wants to have the coolest car. I'm not a huge fan. I don't understand, though, when you have that much money, when I see owners or billionaires getting DUIs and things like this. I'm like, look, if you are going to drink and drive, then go ahead and get yourself your stretch limo, or just G6 yourself, or fly your helicopter on the top of a pad and get out. But at the same time, don't be doing that. But when you want to have some fun, have some toys, have some big boy toys, and that's what you do. I've seen you guys have been a great sponsor, and looking at I'll never forget, you're one of the rare commercials. I'll just stare, and Jordan will be like, but we're watching each one of them because you got some sweet rides. Talk about how you got into this business and what you got. You just always love cars?
Well, everything started not being able to afford to fix them and to make my own parts. So everything started back, I would say, about 20 years ago, back in Puerto Rico with my uncle. We started building race cars. From there on, we decided we want to get a little dirty. So we went ahead with the big tires, big motors, and this Jeep fanatic thing started. We build pretty much, it doesn't have to be a Jeep. We can put big tires on anything and do it the right way. That way you can have fun, and really there's no obstacle to it. We got into it, continued working for other people, and to finally enough is enough. We opened a shop, and here we are.
And look at right now, a lot of these athletes love to pull up a training camp. It's one of the new spectacles. Like one guy came in a tank, like a little tank in there.
What is it for the Packers that it's always something like that, or a helicopter, or it was one of the receivers.
I think it was Adams.
I think so, yeah.
No clue. I just threw out the first receiver I thought of on the team. That was a complete lie. But it sounded good, didn't it? That's why I said it's like the George Costanza from Seinfeld. If you believe it, then it's not a lie, right?
Is it true?
You know, if you sell confident in it, like it's Adams, folks, be like, I have no clue what's. He's the first guy that came to mind right there.
They will agree with you.
60% of the time, it works every time. Looking at the different players though, if you got the big contract, if you did, Luis, if you're one of those guys, you know, you got a Ronaldo contract from overseas, or you got a contract like what you see from somebody like a Zion Williamson in New Orleans, you know, before he parties on bourbon. What is the kind of car that you would go with if you were that?
Well, the way that I build the cars is based on the necessities or the style of the person, as well as the amount of people that this person is willing to have in the vehicle. That way you can make an assessment of the size of the vehicle and what we do with it. If it came down to be unlimited, I will be building the project that actually I'm gonna be starting pretty soon. Is an H1 Hummer. Mm-hmm. Was 1-1. I want to have one on at least 48. 52-inch tires, you know, with a nice 6.6 Hemi. What I'm talking about is almost a tank. We can literally get over any obstacle in the woods. At the same time, you can drive it down the road with one hand on your steering wheel. I'm talking about complete leather inside.
Take out a whole Russian army. Just, you know.
Well, we can sit 6 inside of it with a dirt bike in the middle.
Wow.
Or we can sit 4 with a nice size 4-wheeler in the back as well.
You got the guy driving with the lights. This is oversized load in front of you, or not?
Actually, we got a couple of more driving in front of us to make sure they get out of the way. They see us coming when we go down the road. Our presence is felt where we go, and that's why I always said the bigger the better. When it comes down to your Jeeps, to your tires, to your power, because the last thing you want to do is break down when you're having fun.
Yeah. More importantly, though, and we're speaking with Luis Gonzalez of CNG Auto, one of our great sponsors. And Luis, one of the things more importantly is, like, you got Jordan and I. Like, we're radio, TV guys. We're not sitting here, throwing the ones out at obviously a birthday party for kids.
Right.
But when it comes down to, at the end of the day, you know, some people think that's a lavish lifestyle for only a certain amount of people, and that's not always true, is it?
No, not at all. I myself, we pride our shop in show people that it's attainable. You know, you put a little money aside every week. I work with you. Our labor rates are lower than anybody. I have all the major brands on board. Sometimes, depending on the bill, we also do sponsorships. So all I want is commitment from the person that wants to build their toy. You show me half of it, I give you the other half. Because it's two people, they're building this. Is the owner and the builder. Mm-hmm. We need to make sure that we're on the same page. And you don't need $1 million to look like you're riding on $1 million. Mm-hmm. We refurbish a lot of parts if it's needed. And like I mentioned, we make our own parts as well. So instead of spending that $10,000, $15,000 on the lift kit that we want to get and the customer can't afford that brand, because it's all about brands, I go ahead and I make you one for $7,000. You know, so far it's working out. I work for the little people. I'm a mechanic that just became a self-owner, made, whatever you want to call it, by the grace of God and hard work. And so I understand that money doesn't grow on trees, So yeah, if you guys want to build something, come on down. We make a program. I also got some financial establishments that can help us with the money side of it. I do trade-ins. So if you got all the toys at home that you want to trade in, try to get extra cash, sky's the limit. And if you give us a chance, I promise that we're going to do the best that can possibly come out of that toy that you want.
Got to ask the question because I've seen it before. I was in Las Vegas. What happens there stays there, so it doesn't matter. Apparently, I found that out the wrong way.
He's turning 10 now.
IRS said that doesn't work for taxes. I just kept them in a notebook for 4 years, and apparently they weren't happy with that. But I was like, don't worry, it just stays there. And they're like, come with me. But Wesley Snipes and I had some fun. But when you look right now at the difference of kits and everything like that, I got to ask you because I've seen it one time. It was at a Planet Hollywood parking garage, and this person was in a ride just like Jordan's caught your eye, which was your car, and it was this jacked up Toyota Tundra, which isn't really like a jacked up car you'd think. There's more diesel power trucks, but this thing was lifted like Monster Jam, which really can't get through a Planet Hollywood parking garage, but it found a way somehow, and probably the roof was ridiculously ripped. Now, getting out of the car, though, is this 75-year-old lady about to take penny slots on, and I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh, I've never seen. I'm trying to take photos of her, and she gets her paparazzi on me, just get away from me. But I'm sitting there. You got to have a story of Nana that got out of the car to get their lift kit? Come on now.
Actually,
not one.
I won't say
Come
Nana,
on.
but I would say my mother.
Okay, well, that's
when we first started in South Carolina doing, the suspension, because my specialty most than anything is electrical suspension and, drivetrain. I had it was a car, not a Jeep, not a big vehicle, but it was an 81 Color Supreme that I did hydraulics. I did the whole setup. We used to go to shows and represent. And but it was also my mom's car because I was borrowing it and did all this work without permission. One day my mom is going to work and the windows were tinted black, 5%. So she's driving, a gentleman pulls on the side of the red light and starts making signs like for her to hop the vehicle and then yelling and screaming like I'm driving it. Next year my mom puts the window down, flicks him off. Didn't go to work, went home, went to my room, yanked me by my neck and asked me, what have you done to my car? At that point, I admitted that I actually broke the lock on the trunk, so she never got in it. So I opened the trunk and showed her all that I did. She was so upset that she threw me the keys and said, you can keep it now. Since then, she's never driven anything else that I've owned. But yeah, we get the older folks. They get their F-250s and the little 35s and the little lift. We have solutions for the older. We got some hydraulic or air assist bars that will come down and help you, get in the vehicle. Granted, when I build a vehicle, grandma can drive it because I make it the right way. The specialty of ours is to do it right way the first time. You come in again because you want more. We don't believe in comebacks. Things happen, but doing it the right way, anybody can drive it. Anybody can have fun. I got a nephew that just turned 15, and we built him a $40,000 truck. And he drives it like it was a little Mirage. It's just doing it right.
Luis, this show really caters to people in sports and psychiatric wards. And I was going to say, one of the things that's big is, we always talk about looking at the tailgate, the fans and things like that. If you look right now at, the college football tailgates are coming up. We're right around the corner, less than a month away. And you look at a lot of the people getting set to go. Everybody wants to one up the next guy. When they pull in, they got the grill, they got the TV, the flat screen. Is there certain kits and things like that set up for tailgates?
Well, there are manufacturers out there that they do have some generic bracketing that you can make this, make that. Like I mentioned earlier, we fabricate. We go to the customer and ask him what it is that you want to do. And of course, like you said, we go one up. If the customer tells me he wants, a 20-quart cooler with an ice maker and, a pop-up TV, you better believe we're going to put a sound system and we're going to do a wireless setup as well. When it comes down to the tailgating, go all out because your neighbor is doing it too. Just think of the dream that you had that looks unobtainable. Find a crazy person like myself and we build it.
And people today, and I'm 34 now, go to bed at like 9:30 and have kids. I'm not cool. I try to fool people with this bird's nest hair. But the thing is, most people today, they I'm looking at people in their 50s and their 60s, and they're out there partying, hanging out. They got the lift kit. When I was younger, when we were all younger, we thought 50, and when you saw ARP, it meant you had like a cane. And you were on one of those hover round commercials with Granny on the Grand Canyon. Today, and hitting early bird at 4:30 for dinner. Yeah. It's a different world today where everybody feels like, you know what, you don't have to feel awkward having this, truck in your 50s, 60s, doesn't matter what your age. I've seen some of the coolest trucks ever, and it's the guy who's like a lawyer in town, the CEO of a company, and it's just a sweet truck. It doesn't have to be, I think the difference between being flashy, gaudy, and just cool, there's a big fine line, and you know that. You're not going to give somebody that looks like Bozo the Clown's car. You're going to give somebody something that looks like the sweetest ride in town. And then look, Jordan's never said that ever. It's coming in like, that's the coolest car I've ever seen. And you pull up today, so you already have it because the one time. So you're 1 for 1 on
we
cars.
We have a couple of people here that drive Jeep Wranglers that we work with.
For
no
sure.
offense to them, but his is definitely the best one in the parking lot.
That's
right
pretty
now.
cool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You got to pick the brain of the customer. I pride myself on that. I spend half of my day, when I'm doing a build, I'm taking you out to lunch. We're going to hang out because it's not the day that you pick up the vehicle that you're the most happy. Is a week, a month, 6 months later when it hasn't broke and you keep finding cool gadgets that we installed in it. When you keep adding more power to your system and it keeps taking it. That's what we do. That's what our vehicles are a little bit above it. I am not the fastest person in the world, but we pay attention to detail. And we want that wow effect. I want to drive down the road. I want people to shout at me so I can throw my business card at them. I'm a clown too.
Yeah. You have the type of car right now, if folks are going out to Blue Angels, Luis has it where if you're waiting in that long line, you can stand up on the truck bed and at least see.
No. I got the vehicle that I'm going to run out everybody.
You're going to go right through them.
I was going to say,
Monster jam right there.
Go over the top of the toll booth.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, if you get in his way, yeah, exactly. And if you're stopping at the toll lights, we saw some videos earlier. It's free. Just keep going. You have to stop at the red lights at places, but just keep going for that as well. I got to go out there later. That's maybe why I'm saying that. But Luis, it's been great. We could do this all day long. I'm glad to sit in. We got to do this again. Before we let you go, let everybody know how they can contact you right there and get involved because, look, we got Christmas. We got a lot of holidays coming up. And stop getting those gifts that literally just go right into the basement or into the attic and nobody ever sees them. I actually have a basement in East Hill, so that's why I say that. I was like, basement in Florida. It's jokes on you. But it's actually on me. I need to clean it. But you look at the people out there. Tell them how they can get the perfect gift because that's about as cool as it gets to make your truck, your vehicle, your car look about 10,000 times better for a cost that you wouldn't get for a new vehicle.
Yeah, what I would say out there is just start somewhere because it could be a little intimidating looking at something, after spending 20, 30 on the vehicle, then you got to spend this, that, or whatever. Set with a look. The way that you want to use your vehicle, the way you want to look at it, and we can start there. I get that a lot. I get a lot of wives from the companies that we do fleet work for that they come to me and say, my husband saw this. My husband talked about this. What do I have to do to get it? And it's simple enough, Then I sit down with them, explain them, color, whatever, this, that, and we get it done. And yeah, they can find us 113 Massachusetts. That's in Pensacola, Florida. It used to be the old Carpet Warehouse, for those who know where it is. We also we can find us in the internet. It is cngautoandtrucks.com, as well as you can call us at 850-471-8811.
That's awesome.
We're there Monday to Friday, 8 to 5. And if it happens the door to be closed, call me because most likely I'm working.
And you know what? The biggest thing I think we all do, whether people admit or not, because we have a lot of car dealerships that advertise and things, and I always say the number one thing that I see from people is people want to be able to feel comfortable going somewhere and not always, especially a purchase like that, not always leaving that first day buying something. And what I mean is you'll talk to these people, right?
Oh, absolutely,
and lead them through because that's the worst is you get out of the car and you just see wolves coming at you like, you're like, I don't want to be here, and then you shop online. But you really do need your expert advice to go down there and talk to.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. Starting with our building has characters in older buildings. So you're walking in and you're not worried or concerned about the millions of dollars it took to build it and how much money out of your pocket got to come out to pay for that building. So just starting with that, people always come in warm and they see my projects. Of course, my wife works there as well, so they see the diversity. It's not just a shop full of grease monkeys putting things together, whatnot. So we do have the diversibility as well as we offer pickup, drop-off, deliveries, you name it. We're here to facilitate a job for you. And we're going to do it 100%.
Nice. Well, Luis, I appreciate it. We had some fun. I'm glad you got to sit in today. CNG Auto, Luis Gonzalez. Go check him out right there on Massachusetts Ave. When we come back, we're going to talk a little more college football. We're also going to talk with Eric Baker and Bill Marshall as the 850 concert coming up here, and we're looking forward to that. It's all coming up right here on the Sports Drive.
We know what you want. Good, healthy food that tastes great. Well, we're here to tell you it doesn't exist. Healthy food is for suckers, and if you say you like it, you're nothing but a chump. Be honest, this is what you want to eat. A gigantic burger from Steak Burger. It tastes amazing. What's in it? Who cares? How many calories? Shut up. It's awesome. So get over to Steak Burger now and get one in your belly, or you're a nerd. Feed your hunger the right way. Give it a Steak Burger, 440 East Chase Street, Pensacola.
Paul Feinbaum here for the Southeast leader for cranes and equipment rental, CraneWorks. The CraneWorks team in Nashville, Birmingham, and Mobile is ready to make your next construction or maintenance project a big success. Give CraneWorks a call for your next lift, machinery moving, or rigging project. And don't forget, RentalWorks has a full line of rental equipment for jobs both big and small, and now offering qualified operators for all equipment, including aerial and earth moving equipment. Call CraneWorks at 877-282-LIFT or visit them on the web at craneworks.com.
He was a star quarterback at Pensacola High, played alongside Gator great Steve Spurrier, and rose up the ranks to become head coach of the Buffalo Bills. Now, he's talking football on ESPN Pensacola 945. Coach K brings football to life year-round. The teams, the players, and the front office. Talk football with Coach K every day at noon on your radio. And Coach K live on Facebook and YouTube at ESPN Pensacola 945. Sports is live and local every Saturday from 11 to 1.
Kawhi, him and his free agency, or him just sitting around waiting to sign with the team, had a lot to do with more than just the Lakers. There were other teams that were tied into this trade as well to determine their next moves. And for the Lakers, they still haven't finalized the Anthony Davis deal.
Sports Call with Jordan Glass and Davis Allen on your radio, on Facebook, and YouTube.
Southern California basketball is going to be where everybody's paying attention to this upcoming season.
At ESPN Pensacola 945.
WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. Take one.
Behold the angry giant.
Try it again, Alberto.
Behold the angry giant.
Perfect. Good luck tonight.
Behold the angry giant.
Yay! Read me another one, Dad.
This is WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
All right, it's time for some straight talk. You wouldn't pay $100 for seats to a baseball game where you can get the same seats for $50. So why pay more on your wireless when you can get the same 4G LTE networks for up to half the cost? For $45 a month, get our unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data from Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, only at Walmart.
Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
And welcome back. Sports Drive with you right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and also on Blab TV. Now I can crank my headphones on back to like full metal punk rock. You know, anytime we have a guest in here, last like 3 days we had a guest, and they share headphones with me.
You know what's funny is they're actually sharing with me now, so you could have cranked that up
really?
From the get-go.
Didn't even know that.
Yeah, because
okay.
I just realized the splitter is actually, usually the splitters
been read lips in here instead of, okay, all right.
Yeah, just somebody's come in here and completely reconnected everything, because usually the splitter's over there, now the splitter's over here.
Wahoos are back in Montgomery, or back home, taking on Montgomery, and looking forward to that. 6:35 tonight. We're looking forward to that game as, you know, they're 10-10. They had a rough road, lost 6 straight. Nobody really likes to be on a terrible skid, and now they come back on a victory, though. And right now, it's all about perception. They come back home with winning ways. And hopefully they can keep that going because they got a lot of work to do. They blew that lead right there, right before the first half of the season. The Blue Wahoos lost 5 games right there to the Biloxi Shuckers and lost the first half. So if you don't know how minor league baseball works and you're just a fan of Pensacola and you want to root on the Blue Wahoos, you got 2 halves. The first half is now over. Biloxi's already won that. But in the second half, they've got a lot of work to do if they want to make the postseason. And you know what? They're not going to get a lot of love from the Minnesota Twins because the Twins are going, and what I mean by that, they're going to get a ton of love from the team, but they're not going to get a lot of love from the roster, just player personnel-wise, because Minnesota is going to be fighting for the postseason, and towards the end of the season, more guys are going to be getting called up on the roster. That means something. So they're going to call up the fastest guy to steal bases.
Yeah, they're not going to go, oh, you guys in Pensacola are fighting for a pennant too? Oh, keep those guys in. Keep them, by all means.
No chance.
No, yeah.
So at this point, the Smelters and the Arenas and those guys are going to get a chance, and good for them, and good for them as well. Looking at some of the other things going on, Seth Greenberg said about Zion Williamson, he is significantly overweight. Now, look, we do a radio show down here in Pensacola on simulcast on TV and have some fun, and we make comments, but we're not expecting the next day to wake up and CNN's got our headlines for saying a comment. Seth Greenberg works for the corporation right there at ESPN, the headquarters, and when you say somebody is significantly overweight, it's going to get a couple people looking at it. Now, he said later it wasn't necessarily that his weight was an issue, that simply he was out of shape. Now, here's the deal. That's either a complete dig or what has Zion been doing? Because he has the worst advisors in the history of the world. Because if you're about to make $100 million in something, Like, Jordan, if someone's like, you can be the lead role in the next Francis Ford Coppola movie or some big thing going on right there, it's one of those kind of things where then you got to go out there and you got to take advantage of it. In that case, if you look at a guy like a $100 million investment, come on now. Seriously? Like, you couldn't get yourself, he looks like he's got a couple pounds, but I'm not seeing significantly overweight. We looked at a picture of Jared Lorenzen and Oliver Miller last week. That is significantly overweight. Sir Charles, even, who knows a thing about playing at a certain weight and then ballooning up.
Terrible. Don't bring me into this conversation.
He said, no, he quoted himself. He didn't quote himself, they did. But my concern isn't about the game. My concern about his body. I mean, you can't improve unless you're in shape, and he's not in shape. Whatever his weight is, it's significantly overweight. Watching him in the Summer League, he played 9 minutes. He ripped the ball out of the hands of Kevin Knox and dunked the ball down. That is great. He couldn't move. And in the end, he's going to have a long career, and if that doesn't happen, it's because of his weight. When Charles Barkley was talking about, playing at a certain conditioning, I'm looking at a picture. He looks okay to me. He looks like the kind of guy that would beat the crap out of you if you said he was overweight. Nothing wrong there. Significantly overweight. We've seen guys come back. Sean Kemp, the Rain Man, went to Orlando, and he had a problem. He was drinking too much. And Sean Kemp came back after an injury and could not dunk a basketball. It was embarrassing. He could not dunk a basketball because he weighed about 50 to 80 pounds over what he played at. Zion Williamson might be a few pounds up, but here's the deal. He looks about the same size. He just dominated at Duke.
Yeah.
So let's judge. I'm so tired.
And did we ever think that maybe he put on a little bit more muscle getting ready for the NBA?
But why are we judging? It's like, yes, you're exactly right. We're judging quarterbacks. We're going after, Drew Brees and Tom Brady are getting old. Their days are over. Why don't we judge them when they start actually looking old on the field? Meaning not the guy that just won the Super Bowl and beat 2 former MVPs in Patrick Mahomes and Phillip Rivers, and the other guy, Drew Brees, who really got the biggest con artist deal ever when it was the worst PI, and he would have been in the Super Bowl. So you would have the two guys that you're talking about. In my book, it's the 2 Super Bowl quarterbacks, Drew Brees and Tom Brady, and you're telling us they're getting old. So, Chris Sims, who must have been hitting down Blue Angels Week, the spirit of the blues there that I created, my concoction. Sorry, Jeff Yule. And Chris Sims, though, had them 9 and 10 on the list. 9 and 10? He had Cam Newton and Deshaun Watson over him. You can say what you want about an opinion, but people are also going to have an opinion that a Geo Metro or a Suzuki is better than a brand new Lambo. That's an opinion, bro. A shack, a trailer park is better than a mansion with a pool overlooking Ibiza. It's opinion, bro. But this one is, to me, a no-brainer, and it just makes no sense when people go after him. I want to see him look out of shape before these guys are attacking him, because he looked okay to me. I watched.
Yeah, him taking the ball from the player and dunking it in, and really, was he really even a guy that was that light-footed at Duke? He had some athleticism, but for the most part, he's a big guy.
If they're going to say that his shape from day one doesn't mold the NBA system, now that's right. An argument, because there aren't a lot of guys his size that get to play at that long. Even guys like Draymond Green and those guys had to lose a lot of weight to be consistent. They had to lose weight to be as good as they are.
What I love is people are coming down on Zion. Nobody said crap about Glenn Big Baby Davis. He was legitimately overweight.
Yeah, you see him in Big Three.
He was the big in Big Three. He put the big
different
in the
kind
big
of Tervis tumbler right there. Yeah, I'm telling you. When we come back, though, we're going to talk a little more. Eric Baker and Bill Marshall will join us to talk the 850 big concert coming up here. You're not going to want to miss it. And we'll get to more. Blue Angels got to fly today, had some fun, enjoyed that. And we're also going to get to more on what's going on. Major League Baseball returns with one game tonight as Texas will host Houston right there. We're coming back for more on the Sports Drive.
Imagining a better bank starts with looking at the savings rates most banks offer and saying, really? Capital One is building something better. You can open a Capital One savings account with one of the nation's best savings rates from anywhere. Like here, or here, or here. One of the nation's best savings rates. Opened online, at a Capital One location, or from anywhere. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only. Offered by Capital One N.A. member FDIC. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
Our Pensacola Wahoos are back for another season, and with the new season comes some fresh and new changes. Our Wahoos are now the new AA affiliate of the Minnesota Twins, and they have a new broadcast home here in Pensacola, right here at your hometown station for hometown sports, ESPN Pensacola 945. Catch all the Wahoos action from home and away with Chris Garagiola. Wahoos baseball presented by Denny's on the new official flagship station for the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 945 and ESPNpensacola.com.
Guys, the secret is out. If you want healthy sex, your body needs nitric oxide. And now you can boost your nitric oxide production faster than you thought possible with Ageless Male Tonight, the absurdly fast formula from the #1 brand in male enhancement. Just take one capsule an hour before romantic activity. You'll get clinically tested ingredients that rapidly boost nitric oxide production, and it won't go unnoticed. Rush to Walmart and get Ageless Male Tonight.
The Big One sales event is on at Bob Tyler Toyota with special low Bob Tyler prices. New 2019 Highlander LE just $249 a month. New 2019 Tacoma Double Cab SR5 $229 a month. Or new 2019 Tundra Double Cab SR5 4.6 liter V8 just $289 a month. Bob Tyler Toyota has over 10 acres of pre-owned vehicles. Hurry in before the Big One sales event ends. Approved credit, 12,000 mile, 36-month leases, $49.99 cash or trade equity down, excludes tax tag, registration, title, 0 security deposit. All prices include $899.50 dealer fees. See dealer for details. Expires 7/31/19.
When Jamie Stevens got out of the Navy in 1968, he opened J&D Cleaners. With his commitment to quality cleaning at fair prices, the business grew to become the best dry cleaners in Santa Rosa County. Jimmy's son, Corey, owns J&D Cleaners now, and he shares the family commitment to excellence. J&D Cleaners has discounts for military uniforms, on-site alterations, and a convenient drive-through window at the Milton location. Trust your clothes to J&D Cleaners on Stewart Street, just north of 90 in Milton, and on Woodbine Road, just south of 5 Points and Pace. It's J&D Cleaners.
Paul Feinbaum here for the Southeast leader for cranes and equipment rental, Craneworks. The Craneworks team in Nashville, Birmingham, and Mobile is ready to make your next construction or maintenance project a big success. Give Craneworks a call for your next lift, machinery moving, or rigging project. And don't forget, RentalWorks has a full line of rental equipment for jobs both big and small, and now offering qualified operators for all equipment, including aerial and earth moving equipment. Call Craneworks at 877-282-LIFT or visit them on the web at craneworks.com.
And welcome back. Sports Drive with you right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. Having some fun. It's been a fun show as Pat Dye kicked it off. Always fun. You know, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. That's the song. And Pat was enjoying a nice conversation. And then we also got to talk with Luis Gonzalez of CNG. He had a sweet-ass truck, and Jordan got to see that right there in the front. It was pretty nice. It was not bad. Yeah.
Did he tell you how he came into the parking lot?
No.
No, yeah. Okay, so I pulled in the normal way, and we have that long stretch of grass on the other side of the parking spots. Just comes over the stretch of grass.
Looked pretty nice, yeah. Oh, he went right over?
He went over the grass.
Okay, well, let's not say that. I know that somebody just...
We don't need an entrance. We don't need an exit.
Yeah.
Just
no.
pull right in.
Yeah, there was one guy. Yeah, no. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
I'm going to try it when I leave. Just go over. I
was wondering.
We may need a tow truck when I'm done, though.
That guy that drives the small sedan in the parking lot might need to get a new car. He was trying out for the Gravedigger look at him. No, but I'm telling you, it's a lot. We had Gravedigger here not too long ago. A lot of things going on though. Today we had Melvin Gordon talking right there, the LA Chargers. It's gonna still take a while. I don't care like how many years to say LA instead of San Diego, but LA Chargers. He's talking about he's gonna hold out for a contract. You know, when you see this, stop getting on the player. Because it's the agent that's doing that. I mean, let's be 100% honest. Players can dictate it, but it takes a very, very rare and a guy that doesn't care as much about money to go ahead and say, like, no, I'm good. I'm good taking about $20 million less than what my average is. You know what I'm saying? Nobody ever said if they were in that situation. It's easy for us all to sit back here, and we sit there in our seat, and we're like, take the job. It is a job with my team. You should be on my, like, stop. Like, okay, you can't, Tom Brady can take a contract and everybody's like, good for Tom Brady. And then he does like 5 watch billboards in Times Square and makes that back in a week. Not all these guys get that chance. And not everybody's married to a wife that makes more than you, with Giselle, either. And not that I've ever seen her job. But when it comes down to a lot of these guys, you look at these players, it's easy for us to sit back. Melvin Gordon wants to get paid, and after looking at his stats, He deserves to get paid top dollar. And I think that, I got no problem there. You know what, though? San Diego, L.A., the Chargers will be okay, even without him, with Adam Eckler. But they need Melvin Gordon to be good so they can go deep into the playoffs and get beat by 40 by the Patriots. That's their motto. I think that was what their slogan is on their billboard. When we come back, we're going to talk a little more with Bill Marshall. Eric Baker is going to join us. It is the 850 Music Festival, and we're looking forward to it. We'll send it out to the Pensacola Blue Wahoos. Hope you've enjoyed your day. And stop sending those selfies bragging about being out Blue Angels, man. We're at work. Coming back for more.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 945. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brillante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.
Throws up the middle. That's intercepted at the 40. Derek Brooks 30. Brooks to the 29. He's getting Derek Brooks all the way. Touchdown Tampa Bay. Derek Brooks, the dagger's in. We're going to win the Super Bowl.
Bubba Watson is wearing a green jacket, and this time his name is Bubba.
Pitch on the way. Russell drives one in the air. Deep left center. That's back near the wall. It's got a chance. Grand slam. Grand slam, Addison Russell.
The new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
And Richardson breaks free on the sideline. End zone. How about that? Bama scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And these them Louisiana, Pensacola guys, they looking crazy and all that.
Morris, blocked by the tight end call. That opens up the door. Breaking the Cambridge tackle. To the pylon. Touchdown.
Really nice effort there by Alfred Morris, extending that ball over the goal line.
Near side ball is that big game. Doug Baldwin's got a first down. Doug Baldwin, 93 yards, now has back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons.
Reggie Evans, and he's going to get an ovation. Guy from Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome back. Sports Drive with you right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. I am Chad Brillante alongside Jordan Glass, having some fun with you here in the second hour. And joining us now to talk a little 850 Music Festival. We talked with Eric Baker after he just dominated, no doubter right there, inside the ring at right there with Roy Jones and the fights going on, and just doing an awesome job. Also Jumanji 2. He's part of so many great movies and an actor. We got a true celebrity in town. And Bill Marshall, too. Man, Bill and I got a good conversation the other day and had a blast. And somebody that's doing so much for the community, and he's bringing back a music festival, helping bring it back with Roy Jones Jr. and so many people across the board, from Yang Yang Twins. Man, I'm looking at this list, and I'm bringing back, it's like the CD. When people used to have the CD, that would be labeled like CD1, CD2 in your car. Yeah. Remember the ones on top were before you had on the dash where you had the different, the CD holders, you'd grab it out. Kids are like, what is that thing? But half these guys were on there. I'm looking at Little Flip, Game Over right there, Choppa, Pastor Troy, so many great guys, and we're going to have some fun here today. Eric, how's it going, man?
It's going good. Just loving being a part of this festival and being, part of Bill's promoting, and it's been fun, definitely, so far.
Bill, tell us, how's everything, how's life been going, man?
Oh, it's been great. It's great. It's been so busy lately. It's ridiculous, but it's fun.
Yeah, and you guys have done so much here, and that's one of the things we've done. One of the big reasons why when we've talked working with ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and also Blab TV, bringing together is giving people an opportunity to really grow with the community. Both these stations cover most of the hometown teams. ESPN Pensacola is your home for the UWF football, and Blue Wahoos baseball tonight when we're done. Everything that we do, and we want that same thing, and that's what you guys are doing outside of just the world of sports, but music festivals. I know El Rico, what he's doing with everything from all of the different events, free concerts we were talking about, with the on last July 6th, they got the movie night and all that. You guys, it's so much fun just getting involved with the community, and you do it right and have fun. It's all smiles.
We do. Rico love fun. He's trying to talk me into having a bread eating contest at Rico. These people who drinking alcohol, I don't think they want to be eating bread, and it's gonna be hot at So I was like, I can't do that.
That's what last time we had. My wife was at an event, and everybody was just getting into their dress and things like that. And right in the front, somebody ordered like 15 boxes of Dominoes, and I'm like, you think any one of these girls that have been waiting weeks to fit into that dress are gonna just come in here and just eat a bunch of pizza right now? So I was like, which I had a purpose to this, because I was like, give me that pizza, I'm going to the back. And I had about 4 boxes that day. But when it comes down to this, talk about it, because this is not just a music festival. This is not just some guy pulling up during happy hour and singing at a bar with a guitar. This is something that we haven't had in a very long time.
Yes, it's been about 14 years. But what we tried to do, we decided to bring, we didn't want to go get like a big mainstream artist, because the 90s just reminded us when it was fun, especially if you're from Pensacola. It's a whole different mindset. I mean, the music just generated like fun times, dance, and no responsibilities. It reminded us when we just loved just being us. So that's why we decided to focus on the 90s. And every artist on there has had at least a gold or platinum hit. And when I finally sent them all the flyer, they was more excited than me. They was like, man, we haven't seen some of those guys in so long. No one has put all us together in a show. So they was like more excited, because they've been calling people and trying to add people to the show like that. Hey, I want to bring such, and he was great in the 90s. So it's going to, I know the 69 boys just called me today, like, we got a couple of surprises. And I was like, I need to announce, and he's like, well, I'm bringing somebody they gonna love. I was like, who? He said, yes. So he won't tell me, but he said it's gonna be a surprise though.
That sounds awesome. We're looking forward to it. I'll be out there coming up there. The event is July 20th. As right there, you got the gates opening at 2:30. Show starts at 4:30. And you know what? I was looking at the ticket prices and things like that. Man, you get to some of these music festivals, I was shocked. I feel like I'm my dad. Remember that when they're like, sprinkles on your ice cream? I'm not paying $2.99. And I'm like, Dad, stop. You just bought a new car, but you're worried about 30 cents on my sprinkles. But here's the thing. Like, these tickets, you go down to one of those hangout, like one of the big festivals, you're going to fork up, a lot of allowance. This is something it's reasonable. A couple popcorns at the movies.
And almost all these artists will get $20 by themselves, so but put all of them on one ticket for $30, and it's just ridiculous.
$30, guys. This is like a $200. I would say honestly, it's like a $200 ticket.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I would price it at, because of the magnitude of these singers. Honestly,
and we're trying to, because we're going to keep doing it every year. We're going to keep building it. So we're hoping it'll start falling in the category of A50 Festival, Hangout Festival. That's what we aim for.
The best thing about this is that it brings you back to your, when you're 27 to 40. These are all artists you grew up on. So it brings you that euphoric feeling back to your, high school days and things like that. So definitely, it should be a great
a couple
show.
of these were our generation's Barry White. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to put it right there. That's I don't know what you're like. I don't know what you were doing, but I'm saying it's going to be a blast out there, having some fun. And I know that you work directly. He's just part of it, and I want to make that clear. This is we got so many great entertainers here that are incredible, but you do get a chance to work with a legend and someone we look up to in this community so much, and Roy Jones Jr. Every single day.
Yeah, when me and Roy been doing, I started out doing. We've been friends since elementary school. We grew up a block apart with each other. So when I came up, I did a lot of this PR, sitting all these appointments and everything. We put together a lot of Stop the Violence events. We done concerts at the Civic Center. We done did everything. Traveled everywhere. We done been all around the world. So it's like nothing too much we haven't done.
So you went to a lot of his fights when he was all over?
I went to every fight.
Every fight.
Yeah,
wow. Man.
Every fight, because when he making weight, he's irritated. He just don't like a lot of people around him. So he's like, hey, I want him. I want to be with me. So we always just been best friends. Like, then we end up opening up a nightclub together. So out on Highway 98, it was called Foxtrot Lounge.
Okay.
And then the state ended up buying the property, and we had no parking lot. They didn't buy the building; they brought the parking lot. It was crazy. So then we moved over on Fairfield behind McDonald's, and it starts at 9, and it was just off and running since then. But all these artists, we started bringing it through. Like, I just started doing artists then, you know. It's like I got relationships with most of them, and when I finally called them, they was like, where you been, you know? So, but we had a lot of them from Texas that wanted to come down. They just couldn't fit them on the show because we did with like Mike Jones, all of the Screwed Up clique, all of them wanted to come. Like, I got a real close relationship with them. And I really got a close relationship with Lil Jon, but I like, Lil Jon, I can't afford you. He over in like Australia getting like $200,000 a show. Is ridiculous. Like,
you said I can't afford you, and he went, what?
Yeah. Okay. Time to go.
That's pretty cool. Eric, I know you just got done with the big fight, and you've been working with so many different groups. Talk a little bit about you've been getting ready for inside the cage and inside the ring. You guys have been working hard out there.
Yeah, definitely. And it's always hard work when you're in the fighting world. But right now I'm working on a gym over on Dog Track Road, Hard Knocks Fitness. That's been my main focus. So, but definitely I'm actually taking a little break from training right now. Just recovering from training in the last fight, and I'm gonna start training here this next week back at Roy's. So it's been great. It's been fun. It's been an adventure, definitely.
As somebody looking at this music festival, on a scale of 1 to 10, how pumped are you when you saw this was coming?
Oh, 10, definitely 10. Yeah. Like I said, it brings me back to my elementary and high school years, man. So it's definitely been a blast so far.
It's gonna get a lot of people in trouble because everybody gonna start reminiscing and discussing. Hey, when this song came out, I was with such and such, or I was dating, or when we had those 3 girls on the trip. It's gonna get people in trouble though. And
don't be talking Jameis Winston on here.
Yeah.
Okay, I was sorry.
Oh man.
Yeah, but I mean, come on. But when you look right now at this group of singers, I mean, it's incredible the list of people. That's the thing. It's like when we were first building this, and we, Cat Country 98.7, #1 station in the country. They're incredible. I mean, they get everybody coming down here. Luke Holmes played an independent concert. And Jordan had to answer about 8 billion calls when he was on air. But you're talking about people understand the value of a name and a brand. And when we first built this, I remember sitting around and I was like, we have to have ESPN. And I said, it's not just because we don't have good people, good quality, good talent in this area, but it's because people see ESPN and immediately they want to be part of that. They see the sports brand. You guys, the second I looked at this, I'm sitting there with Brittany last night. We tucked in our kid, and they're sitting there, and we're looking, and we're like, oh, my gosh, this is awesome. So you already had us sold by reading the names. Then the concert, whether, we don't know what kind of beverages are going to be served or what the gate's going to look like or what the stage, what kind of fluorescent lights. All we know is you already got everybody sold. If you see the list of the people here, Yin Yang Twins, 6ix9ine Boys, Choppa, Little Flip, Pastor Troy, Roy Jones Jr. will be there. All these people, I'm looking across the board. JSAP was down here last week, 6ix9ine Boys. These people are some top near. They're playing across the country. They're not playing games like that. It's fun to see that they're down here in Pensacola.
JSAP just before I got here, he said, make sure you tell Chad his favorite artist is going to take the
That's
stage.
right. I got that. I'm telling you, he's one of the best right there. I'm excited. I'm excited to go out there and have some fun with the guys. But before we let you go, what's the best way that they can get tickets right now?
All right, the best way to get them is probably Eventbrite.
Okay.
You can go to Eventbrite and type in 850 Music Festival. Or if you're in Pensacola, you can go to Mr. Wings or Fat Boys Sandwich Shop. They're both on Pace Boulevard. Mm-hmm. If you're in Fort Walton Beach, it's Anna Miracle Fashion. And if you're in Mobile, it'll be Northside Check Exchange.
Okay. And we do have people listening all across the board from Mobile and to Panama City. Guys, real quick, let's get to a little sports talk. Right now, everything going on in the news. What teams are going to take that next step? Do you feel, as a basketball fan, do you guys like the super teams, or would you rather see, out of the 30-something teams, you have 10 or 12 competitive instead of 3 or 4? What do you think? Is it good or bad to have it?
I think it's kind of...
You're a Golden State fan, so you've lived that life. So you're like as a Pats fan.
But I've been telling people since KD got there, they wouldn't win without KD. Like when
they won it without him, yeah.
Yeah, but after that, they couldn't win it again without KD.
I would agree with that.
And no one, they always kept saying the super team, but they didn't have a super team. They had a great team, but it wasn't super. They was getting beat all the time, Ever since that one run, even when they had the best record, they didn't win.
As a true Golden State fan, the biggest thing that people don't talk about is Andre Iguodala got old overnight.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Andre Iguodala, remember, he was the MVP 3 years ago of the series. He was huge. He was the catalyst nobody talked about. This year, he was almost like a deterrent on the court. You didn't want him on the court.
You know how you could tell
playing.
the last shot when Curry took and he missed, Iggy threw the ball in and didn't step in bounds. He stepped in bounds and didn't move. If he would have crashed the hole, the ball came right to him because Cousins just didn't jump. If he would have stepped in there, he would have at least got a chance to tip it in or something.
And Boogie's not the same. Boogie, I know he does a lot. He's down here from Mobile. I'm sure you've talked to Marcus before and all that, but he is he's just not the same player. And here's the deal: when you're that size and you come off an Achilles injury, that's the biggest thing. And Eric, I know you're out there keeping yourself in shape, and a lot of these guys, but the biggest thing is people assume that the same athlete's going to come out there and be the exact same person, and it's not. If you had an injury to your back or your foot, I've had a broken toe for a couple weeks, and I'm walking around here like the guy from Jurassic Park with the cane, and nobody wants to. People think and they assume everybody's a commodity. But it's not that simple. And a lot of these guys have had injuries. Boogie has had injuries that he maybe will. You're never going to get the same Boogie that you saw in his first couple years in Sacramento. He's just never going to be that same guy, but he still can be serviceable. And now the Lakers, that's scary.
Everything every shot Boogie kind of took, it was kind of like I'm glad he made it. You think KD gonna come back?
I think that he's going to try to make a run, but it's going to be completely based on where they're at. Meaning if Brooklyn is in the playoffs deep. Look, remember when they won the series a couple years ago with Golden State? He set out the whole Portland series, and people were like, oh, no KD. Nobody cared when he went out there, and they finally got him back, and they won the championship. For this case, I think that he's going to look at it, see where Brooklyn's at. If they go out there, where Brooklyn at? You go out there, and you can see where you go out, shameless play. But when you go out there, and then they go play, if they win the first round and they got a team like Philadelphia, or they're taking on a team like Boston or a big team, and they need him, then he'll be back. But I don't think at this point they're going to rush him back, because that's not what KD's about. It's the long term, and they got Kyrie Irving that will be able to sustain them for a long time.
So what do you think about the Knicks? They probably be Division I this year.
Knicks
I'm
sure.
They should be the best Division I team this year.
We'll see.
Duke not in it.
Knicks are just gonna more people booing Dolan out there. That's what it is. It's pretty sad, and I think it's gonna be fun. Look, you guys, we enjoyed it. Have fun. San Francisco 49ers. You think? Is this the year that they finally make that? If Garoppolo can stay healthy, they got a shot.
Yeah, I think they'll surprise a lot of critics. So
that's a good way to put it. I think it's fair. That left a wide open door for a lot of conversation. I think they're going to surprise some critics. Yeah, what the 2-14 critics? No, I'm just playing. No, it should be a good season overall, guys. We enjoyed it. Hey, Bill, appreciate it. Eric, looking forward to do it. I know we're gonna talk some more and have some fun with you guys as always. And looking forward to the 850 Music Festival. Check it out right there. You can check it out Eventbrite.com as well. Pensacola 850 Music Festival. It is July 20th. It is a Saturday. Gates open at 2:30, and then 4:30 show starts. You might be tired from the 4th. You might be tired from Blue Angels Week. You might be sitting there and saying, you know what, I'm going to rest a little and get ready to party. This is what you need to do. Guys, enjoyed it, and we're looking forward to doing it again here soon with you guys.
Come out and support us, Pensacola.
Appreciate it, guys. We're coming back for more right here in the Sports Drive.
the clock, Redwire is working for you. As security experts, they're committed to 24/7 customer service and professional installation to secure your business and home. Redwire operates a nationally recognized monitoring center here in the Florida Panhandle, where their trained specialists use innovative technology to ensure fast response times whenever you need them. If you are looking for affordable security, look no further than your own backyard. Redwire, real expert security.
And welcome back, Sports Drive, right here at ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Video, now let my dog go.
There you go.
Video, now let my dog
That's
go.
right. Yeah, that's it. You know, it's we started off with a bang right out of the gate. Pat Dye comes on.
Yeah,
and he starts laughing.
Who's
We
Charlie
had some fun.
Weiss going to impress the cook?
Yeah, I think he really liked the Blue Angels. The show, we're about to get this thing kicked off from 0 to 700 real fast, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah. Rick James said no, but I'm telling you, it's been a blast today. We've had just had Bill Marshall, and that's cool. Bill's a humble guy too, man. We talked yesterday, like he said. I'm like, hey, have you gone to a couple fights? He's like, yeah, I traveled the world. Every Roy Jones. You know how many fights Roy Jones has fought,
and the locations
everywhere.
too, yeah.
When it comes to boxing, boxing's that sport where that's the one thing about boxing. It's the one sport where they've been everywhere. You know, I'm sure they're like, ladies and gentlemen, the fight of the world. It is Sub-Zero, literally in Antarctica. Bop, 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 like penguins, leopard seals. Like you never know. They everywhere. Mongolia. Look, I was talking to one of the former boxers. Have you ever seen that ESPN 30 for 30 on the fight in Tokyo with Mike Tyson versus Buster Douglas? Most people don't even remember that fight was in Tokyo.
Right.
You know, but he was saying, right before that, he had been in Shanghai. They went to, out there, they were in Taiwan, Hong Kong. Then they went to India. Then they fought in, the UAB, which is Dubai pretty much, even before Dubai became what it is today. And went to Yemen. They went out to, back to the States, Argentina, then went to Mexico, went to Canada, went to Vancouver, which is in Canada. I'm not stupid. But all these things, and fought everywhere. So when Bill Marshall says, and I've been with him, yeah, he, Carmen Sandiego State, this isn't the Oregon Trail here, folks. We're talking about, the people that put that think they're cool at their work, and don't blame you. It's a pretty cool thing. But those people that put the dots of everywhere they've been. Like they'll take
they'll have the little map. And they'll just put the little pins in it.
Just the pins. Like Bill covers the map, the entire map. So I'm just saying that's pretty cool because no matter if you travel or not, I think everybody would like to be able to travel everywhere if you could. Just the biggest thing, what's the biggest thing? People can't afford it or don't have a Roy Jones Jr. to be able to be part of the entourage to get to go to some cool places. Because it's one thing to travel to a country where you sit in line and you don't get to go to those cool places, or it's cooler when you get to, you and Roy Jones Jr., your best bud, get to travel around the world. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
now that, I'm sure you're going to get to a couple of places that they don't put on the brochure. That's all I'm saying.
I can
Pretty
guarantee you that. And speaking of boxers, a fun fact. Today in 1988, Mike Tyson hired somebody to be a financial advisor for him. Do you know who it was?
Stevie Wonder? No, I don't.
That was Wesley Snipes. That was Wesley Snipes.
I was going to say, I'm not sure. What, the pigeons he let loose on the roof?
None other than the 45th president of the United States, Donald Trump.
Really?
Yes. On this day in 1988, it was released that Mike Tyson hired Donald Trump to be a financial advisor.
And he said, "You fired."
Yeah.
No. I think
his financial accounts are impregnable.
Listen, Mike Tyson has made more. Iron Mike is. You know what the thing is about him is he's made some horrible decisions that I'm not going to condone. Or some people, if you never forgive them for things like that, then I understand. I mean, he went to jail for rape. I'm just going to say that. So some people never actually are like, some people may never forgive that, and it's understanding. Like, it wasn't like it was in the newspaper. He actually went to jail for it. But at the same time, I remember Mike Tyson, I met him in Orlando, and was was up there, and one of the guys at the table, I saw him from a distance, and I respect people's boundaries, especially working in the media. Yeah, look, you get to see the top-line country singers.
Right.
We got people all the time, the best of the best, that come down here and work with us. And in broadcasting, we get to work with them all the time. But we're going to respect their boundaries.
Right. It's like being at the Senior Bowl. I mean,
Yeah.
especially this past year where you have John Gruden is one of the head coaches for one of the teams. You see him on the sideline. You could easily walk over there and be like, hey, coach, you mind if I get a selfie real quick? But the man's coaching. You keep your distance. It's a respect
Saban and
thing.
Belichick
Yeah.
were right there on the sidelines. They all come down there for it. And I remember sitting there. The coolest thing, I'm 19. I'm sitting there working my first job at the Orlando Magic summer camp, which was they got there. It's only open to the media,
right?
And it's only open to the players and the GMs and the coaching staffs. And I'll never forget it too, because Eric Spoelstra, who became the head coach to win all the championships, is pretty much a puppet. Nice guy, but it was LeBron James' team with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. And LeBron wanted a coach that literally was just carrying a clipboard saying, LeBron, what do we want to do? But Eric Spoelstra was sitting there, and he literally was like the sandwich guy for Pat Riley. At that point, you had Roth, I believe it was, you had Stan Van Gundy, and a few others on the staff, but he was the guy like, what do you want? We're leaving here tonight. We're going to get a place downtown. I think we're going to do Victoria and Albert's down there at the Gaylord Palms. What do you want? Like, he was the guy like taking orders to go down and get food for Pat Riley. And Pat Riley's a legend, but that's what he did. And then 2 or 3 years later, he's the head coach of a team about to win a title. It just goes to show you sometimes the players.
The right hair gel. Yeah.
The NBA is clearly a player-driven league first. How many coaches should be a show? How many coaches Carmelo Anthony got fired? But overall, there were, and then we realized it was just because he didn't play defense.
Right.
But there are so many guys like that, and I'm sitting there, and being from Boston, 19 years old, I'm sitting next to Larry Bird and Michael Jordan. And Michael Jordan is the GM of the Charlotte Bobcats at the time. And you had a guy in Larry Bird who was the GM of the Indiana Pacers. And I'm sitting there like, oh, my goodness. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's not too many more. If you put like a bucket list of people you're going to sit on if you're a basketball fan, I'm sitting, not sit on, but sit with. Yeah. They're 6'9", folks. I can't reach.
Excuse me, Michael.
Yeah. Can I just sit on you real quick?
There's no other place
just real
to sit.
fast.
It's the best
Yeah, sit on. What's this guy sitting on my lap, bro? But we're sitting right there next to him, and I'm just like, so I'm keeping as professional and cool as I am.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a weathered 15 guy, you know, that 15 years in the business sitting here, obviously that stays always professional like I do today. But I'm sitting there and I look over and I'm just like, man, they're there. So during the break, it was a timeout, and I look at Mr. Bird, Larry Bird, and I say, you know, Mr. Bird, I've always been a big fan of your, you know, when, you know, growing up here at Taunton, Mass, my family and all that, huge Celtic fan. And he just looked over and he just looked, and then he looked right back on the court. And I was just like,
Eesh.
you son of a, like in the
meet
back,
your
like
heroes.
there.
Yeah.
What you realize too is at that moment, no matter what, you can never take that back. And that's what you don't understand. Whether you're an athlete, you're a dad right now, a mom, and I don't want to sound like a PSA or Sarah McLachlan commercial here, but what I'm saying is, no matter who you are today, if you leave with one thing from the show, is that you would be shocked that the impact. Jordan, look, you have more fans. Look, Cat Country, you post something. Yeah, exactly. How many Luke Combs say? The things that you say to people, the little things that you say to people, it might be nothing to you because you'll go home. Like Larry Bird has no clue. If we got him back on the show, and he actually talked to me years later down the road on a show, he had no clue who I was, and I didn't bring that up. Be like, hey, Larry, I want to ask you about the Pacers, but listen, 1998, you know, like none of that happened. But you never know the impact you'll have on somebody's life, and, or just the little things. So that's why, you know what, try to be nice to people no matter who you are, even if you're having a rough day. Try the little things with your son or dad. If your son gets home from school or summer camp right now, he's like, Dad, I got the coolest thing. Or your daughter is like, Mom, I want to show you this move. Then go ahead and spend 2 seconds and at least act like you care, even if you don't, because it'll be something where that will last forever. And the next thing, you know what? You'll say, man, why is my son not bringing me any artwork anymore? It's because he's over it. Yeah. And you'll never get that chance again sometimes. And like I said, I didn't want to get this into some like violin music here, but I'm telling you, it means a ton. And with football season coming up and those little things, the good human beings, not the people that cut you off in traffic in Destin, and you can form an opinion, Rick Pitino, but it gets to the point where you realize that it is huge. And, you know, the people that we work with, the Bill Marshalls that work with Roy Jones Jr., Roy is pound for pound maybe the greatest boxer of all time, right there with Muhammad Ali and some of those guys. And he walks up to people all the time. He plays basketball, not in his own private place, which he could, but in places and Gulf Breeze and at the Y and places all the time. Just a stand-up kind of guy that when it comes to
I can remember a fun Roy Jones Jr. story. I go back to, I think it was August 2016. He was fighting in Island Fights. And I had a media credential. I was covenant for our sister station, News Radio. I was a sports guy at that time for them before ESPN started. And I was there covering it for them. And if anybody that's been a member of the media, they know that they put you right next to where the fighters walk out.
Yes.
Roy Jones Jr. comes out. He's getting ready for his fight. He's seconds away from getting into a war with another man in a ring. And he's looking at the people in the media. Hey, guys, how you doing? You having fun? You having fun? You having a good night? I mean, he's just a great guy, and he wants to make sure that everybody's having fun, especially at an event like that.
Yeah, so that 850 Music Festival is going to be awesome. And remember, Roy's just a little part of it. You got people that have made the kind of people, if you've never heard of them, you might be like, I don't know who the Yin Yang Twins are or whatever. Go ahead and
Shame on you.
if you YouTube that, and you might, if your kids are there, just pick
kids probably know who the Yin Yang Twins are.
Be careful what song you pick. But at the same time, if you do click that song, it's the kind of people that have millions of views, not like that guy that posted selfies on there with like 75 views. Be wary of that guy. Yeah.
No.
Be wary of that guy. Hey, enjoyed it. We got the Blue Wahoos coming up. Chris Garagiola joined the show yesterday. He's back in action as he will be out there tonight. We are back home. If you're looking for something to do, Blue Wahoos baseball, always a great time.
WWE night down there tonight.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That means that Bubba Watson's going to chokeslam people, right? No,
that's right, brother.
Bubba's going to be down there, going to have some fun, and get down there. WWE night at the stadium with so many great guys from Roman Reigns, the Uso brothers. We got Scotty Armstrong. We got so many from back in the day. Bill Fettke, we used to be one, by the way. Hey, he was awesome. Hey, Bill, if you're out there listening, as always great to catch up with him. That's all the time we have for today's show. Jordan, enjoy it. You're off tonight, by the way?
I am on. Well, no, I'll be on tonight.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cat Country 98.7. Tune in with
Jordan
Jordan Glass.
For a second. I was like, I'm off tonight? No, I'll be on.
I'll be heading out. Hopefully, everybody clear your way because I'm heading out to the beach. So no more Blue Angels to see. Guys, have a great rest of your night. And as always, thanks for joining us, and God bless.
My favorite thing about